A.D. Williams once said, "Imagine what 7 billion humans could accomplish if we loved and respected one another." Just imagine. Imagine if there was no greed. Imagine if there was no comparison. If everyone was running their own race, but cheering for all others at the same time. Maybe we'll never see that in our lifetime. But what we all can do is start with ourselves. Start with yourself. Choose to lift others up. Choose to set the example of kindness and integrity, the example of compassion and understanding. There's a quote that says, "No matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, how you treat people ultimately tells all." Integrity is everything. It really is. Who you are is far more important than what you have, and it will always be. Who you are is measured by how you make others feel. Be kind to each other. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Choose to be the change you wish to see in the world. Decide you will not wait for someone else. You will set the example. Be kind. Because you never know how much that person is suffering inside. You never know the difference your words can make, the difference your presence can make, the difference you can make to one human life. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of humanity. Be the reason someone else decides to make a difference in others. Be the influence you want to see more of. Always do what is right, not what is easy in the moment. Kindness spreads like a virus. When you do good to another, that person does better to those they come in contact with. You really can make a big difference in the world today and every other day. Anne Frank said, "In the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit." No one has ever made themselves great by showing how small another is. Be kind and always build others up to the best of your ability. Treat everyone with the same level of kindness that you would like for yourself. Not because everyone is nice, but because you are. Because karma makes no mistakes. Because it is right. Because you have integrity. Because you want this world to be better when you leave than when you arrive.
Good morning, Vision community. How are you this morning? Hope you're all well. Hope you're staying cool. I know in San Diego it's quite warm this weekend, so wherever you are, wherever you're tuning in from, stay cool today. Iced tea, the whole bit, right? Let's pray in. I give great thanks for this morning, for this beautiful sunrise, for the day, even though it's warm, for the day and all of the limitless potential that it brings with it. We know that when we wake in the morning, we wake and we step into that field of infinite potential. We know that we get to pick and choose through consciousness those things, those people, those places, the things that we experience, the feelings that we have. We know we are at choice all the time. So I give thanks for this. I know and accept free will. I know and accept that we get to choose God. We get to choose the idea that Spirit is in charge and all is well. We get to choose the truth. And so giving thanks for this time spent together, I know and accept it is all God, is all good, and so it is. So good morning. How's everybody this morning? Please stay inside, stay cool. I know it's going to be a warm one this Labor Day weekend. Can you believe it's Labor Day already? Oh my gosh. I just cannot believe it. Where did the summer go? Yeah, well, it went while we were sitting at home, right? Sheltering in place, it went by. What's left is the heat. I guess that's the only thing. So stay inside, stay cool, stay hydrated. That's really, really important. Stay hydrated as well. And stay listening to Vision. Stay with our Sunday celebrations and stay with the uplifts to keep us reminding ourselves who and what we are, right? That we are spirit. We're hanging in there together. This will be in our rearview mirror soon. I know it. And we will be celebrating that as well, right? Let me tell you, if you have something on your heart right now, it is the perfect time to contact a practitioner. Religious science practitioners are people who have gone to school for years in the art of compassionate listening and the science of healing prayer. They're here to support us, to help us, to pray with us and for us all the time. So don't leave this website, or actually if you're listening on Facebook, I don't know where you're listening from. I don't know that. But if you're listening from the Facebook, there is a connection, right? There is a link that you can get to our page, our web page, and find that list of practitioners. Find a practitioner name and number. Call a practitioner. Get prayer support. If you have anything on your heart right now, you want to do that. I know at the end of our celebration, we are going to have a meet and greet on Zoom. The connection for that is also in the thread, the discussion thread here. And you can go to that meet and greet. And you can get into a private prayer room with a licensed practitioner. Get prayer support. We know, absolutely know that it helps. It uplifts us. It keeps us connected with the truth of our oneness, not only with spirit, but with each other. So take advantage of that. Promise me you will do that before you get off the computer today, after our celebration, that you will absolutely take care of your soul. Right? You will take care of your soul because that's what you're here to do. What else can I tell you? I want to tell you how we greet people here at Vision all the time. So wherever you are, I want you to hear this. I want you to really take it in because you might be tuning in from San Diego, and I love that. You might be waiting for our doors to open, and I love that even more. I'm waiting for our doors to open as well so that we can all get back together. But wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's San Diego or whether it's across the country, I want you to hear this. Wherever you are, I made a mistake already. Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. I want you to really hear that. I want your soul to just take that in and allow yourself to resonate with that, because that is the truth of Vision. We are a community of diversity. So please feel welcome. Take your shoes off, put your feet up, and allow us to just love you right where you are. I'm going to turn this over now to our celebration singers who are going to sing our centering song to prepare us for meditation.
I breathe and know the truth for you. We breathe and know the truth for all. We breathe and know the truth. I breathe and know the truth for me. I breathe and know the truth for you. We breathe and know the truth for all. We breathe and know the truth. We breathe and know the truth. We breathe and know the truth.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Patti Paris. I am the senior minister here at Vision. And I want you to know that ministers are licensed practitioners. That's where we all start. And so I am your licensed practitioner this morning. And I am here to lead you through this time of meditation. So please take these quotations into your heart as we move into the silence and allow the tones of the bowl to bring you into and out of our 5-minute meditation. Our first quote this morning is from W. Clement Stone, who says, "Thinking will not overcome fear, but action will." And this quote from Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind and Spirit. But what is fear? Nothing more or less than the negative use of faith. It is faith misplaced. In that meditative place, we know that we are one. We know that spirit is one. We know there is one life, one energy, one God. We know that there is only one. And we know that this one shows itself, creates form. We know that it outpictures as the diversity of all life everywhere. We know that this one has sought and found itself a way to be manifest, to be material. We know that the entire universe is the outpicturing of the thought of spirit, that the galaxies and the planets, the stars and the suns, everything in the vast expanse of the universe is the thought of God. It is unfolding as the physical universe. It is unfolding as matter. It is knowing of itself in form. And we know that it does this eternally. It is forever taking form and abandoning form. That is what it does. We know that this is some part of the whole life of God right here, right now. At this point in time, each one of us is some undifferentiated part, some unique, individualized thread in the tapestry of all life. I know that my life is some part of God, and I know for each one of us that we are living that life of spirit in form. That spirit has chosen to incarnate as you and I is a miracle. It is a miracle in itself. We know that spirit has chosen to incarnate itself in form, and we are that. And all life is that. And so as that, we know that spirit has never become absorbed in its creations. It is forever infinite in its scope and nature. We never run out of God. God can never create so much that it runs out of itself. It is infinite. And so that we know where we stand right here is the infinite nature of God, flowing through us and as us in the world. So we know the infinite nature of abundance or beauty or balance or peace or poise or power flows through us. And we are the place where love shows up. We are the place where joy shows up. We are the place where the infinite wisdom of spirit shows up. As we awaken to the truth that we are one with spirit and we are one as spirit, that spirit flows through us just absolutely, consciously, constantly, flowing through us, we know that we are the place where spirit does the work on earth. We are the place where love shows up. We are the place where wisdom shows up. We are the place where joy makes itself manifest through us and as us. So I know that this day is brought to us by Spirit. I know that we fully participate in it when we remember who we are. I know and accept that we allow joy and abundance and beauty to flow through us into the world, creating a better world, creating a world that works for everyone. When we consciously say yes to Spirit, we know the universe says yes right back to us. So we become the place of healing that the world is calling for. We become the place of peace that the world is calling for. We become the place of joy the world is calling for us to be. So I give great thanks for this. I know it is the truth for us. I know it is the truth of all living beings everywhere. I know behind the diversity of all life stands the one life, the one power, the one presence, the one life of God's that is individualizing itself as us. And with great thanksgiving, I know the truth of this. I know that we are infinite co-creators of Spirit, and I know it is all God. I know it is all good, and so it is. Amen.
Hi there, I'm Paul Kruse. How are you? Thank you very much for having me today. I really, really appreciate it. It's an honor to be able to sing again. Thank you. I took the topic to heart, face your fear, and I know we're all facing our fears, but I was thinking about the children that are facing their fears because of what they look like and what they believe in and who they are. And we need to continue to stand by those children. We continue to lift them up. God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. He is young, he's afraid. Let him rest, heaven blessed. Bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. He's like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers fly one by one, how soon they fly, on and on. But I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give. Let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die. Let him live. Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him
Good morning. We are in September, and we have a new theme for the month. You know, we always coordinate the themes here at Vision with the Science of Mind magazine. So this way, in your spare time, you get a chance to read some of the articles that coordinate with our theme. So we're all talking about the same thing at the same time, and isn't that wonderful? You get to read about it, you get to hear about it, you get to really contemplate these themes and on many different levels. So the theme for September is facing the fear. Facing the fear. I love that. What a great time in this country, what a great time on the planet, really, to be discussing fear and how we can face it and how we can move through it. And today's talk is F everything and run. Get it? F everything and run. F-E-A-R. Get it? You get? Okay, great. I'm so glad. Okay, F everything and run. And of course, you know what the F stands for, right? Wait for it. Wait for it. Forget. It stands for forget. Forget everything and run. What were you thinking? Come on, stay with me here. Forget everything and run. And here's what Ernest Holmes had to say about fear. From the Science of Mind textbook, he says this: but what is fear? Nothing more or nothing less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced. You'll recognize that from this morning's quote. But he goes on to say, a belief in two powers instead of one. A belief that there can be a power opposed to God, whose influence and ability may bring us evil, right? Or what we would define as evil, mistakes or downfalls or whatever. It is not a thing in itself. Fear never was, never will be a thing in itself. It is an effect. It is not a cause. Fear is simply an effect. It is misplaced faith. It's faith in everything going wrong instead of faith in everything going right. It's the shadow side, right? There is only faith. It is the shadow side of faith. I put my trust in everything going to hell instead of everything going right. And now, there are several ways that we deal with fear, right? I mean, one is forget everything and run. We do that, right? Tail between the legs. Boy, we hightail it out of there. Forget everything and run. The other way we can deal with fear is to face everything and rise. And that's the last talk of this month, so keep checking back with us. I'm not going to talk about that one now. That one's for the last talk of this month. But what we know is there are several real physiological responses to fear. Our bodies do things when fear comes up, when we face fear. And you know, I know that you know that the fear response, it used to be called fight or flight, right? You've heard that. That is that adrenaline rush, you know, that we get when we are afraid. It's called the fight or flight response. Now, there's really more to it than that, you know. They've expanded a little bit on that whole entire fear response thing, and they started calling it fight or flight or freeze, because that is also one of the things we do in the moment, is that we absolutely freeze. Now I believe the fear response has been broken down into fight, flight, freeze, or fold. So we keep learning about it. We keep expanding it. We keep learning more. And so today's talk, right, forget everything and run, is really about that flight part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fold. And I want to go back to the Ernest Holmes Science of Mind textbook for a moment, because he had a lot to say about fear. But here's one of them from page 404. He says, fear is a belief in limitation, a denial that the divine is the center and the source of all good. We absolutely forget, and that's why the F is forget. Because when fear hits us, we absolutely forget the truth of our nature. We forget we are centers of divine activity. We forget, and we go all down into our humanness, and that's where the fear resides, is down in our humanness. When we remember the spiritual beings that we are, there's no fear there. When we remember we are birthless, deathless, timeless, immortal beings, there's no fear there. There's nothing to fear. But when we forget our divine nature, right, we go down into our fear. So here's an example. You're sitting at home, reading a good book, because we're all sheltering at home, right? So you're sitting on your couch, your home's quiet, there's nobody else at home, or maybe you live alone, right? So there's just you, and you're on the couch, and you're reading, and you're having a moment, maybe your tea is alongside, whatever. And you hear something. You hear a disturbance in the garage. Now, several things happen at this point, right? There's that immediate fear. That's fear. And several things happen. Several physiological things will happen to you at that moment because, boom, the amygdala lights up. It's that part of the brain that is responsible for perceiving fear. And the amygdala responds by sending signals to the hypothalamus, which stimulates the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is responsible for things you don't have really conscious control over in your body. It's responsible for your heartbeat, for your respiration, for your blood flow, for things like that, right? That you don't have to consciously think about doing during your day. Aren't you glad about that? You don't have to remember to beat your heart, right? Or breathe your breath. It's done by the autonomic nervous system. So now one of the things that happens when you get lit up with fear like that is, boom, that autonomic nervous system goes to work. And right away your hearing perks up. That's one of the things that it does. Along with respiration and heartbeat and digestion and pupillary response, it sharpens your hearing in moments of fear. So your body releases adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones. These stress hormones go to work in your body. Your heart rate increases, your blood viscosity thickens, your pupils dilate, more blood goes to your large muscles like your thighs, for running, right? All kinds of things happen. Your hands and feet may get cold because blood is being redirected. Your pain receptors deaden. So if you do get wounded, if you do choose to fight instead of flee, right? You don't feel it as much. So a whole host of things are going on inside of your body the moment you hear that ruckus in your garage. You get ready to fight, you get ready to flee, you get ready to freeze, to fold, whatever. Now, freeze is what happens when you don't fight or flee. The freeze response is, and I know you've probably heard this on the news, right, where people were like, oh, I was frozen in fear. I was frozen in fear. Now, that is the freeze response. I couldn't do anything. I was frozen, right? That's the possum, right? The possum just absolutely freezes, goes into that response of nothing, you know? Go perfectly still, and the beast will go away. It's what they tell you when a bear walks up on you, right? Just play dead, and the bear will sniff you and go away. The fourth response, fold, well, that is the absolute collapse of our will to live. You know, in folding in on ourselves, we actually realize in our mind, we're going to be eaten by the bear. There's no getting out of this. I'm going to check out. And we absolutely leave our bodies at that point. That's the collapse. That's the fold. Okay, so now let's go back. You're sitting on your couch. You hear the ruckus in the garage. You hear the noise. That is the psychological trauma. Nothing has happened to you. Nothing. Absolutely nothing has happened to you. But fear strikes you, right? That is the psychological trauma. That's the stimulus that has started this whole cascade of events happening inside your body. So you go over to your umbrella stand and you pull out the baseball bat. Well, because you're in Southern California. Nobody needs umbrellas. It never rains in Southern California. So this is where you keep your baseball bat, right? Don't you? You got your baseball bat in your umbrella stand. And you get your baseball bat and you go into the garage and you flip the light on. And you see the neighbor's dog stuck inside your garage because it probably wandered in when your garage door was open while you were bringing the groceries in. And poor little Fifi got stuck in there when you put the garage door down. And the poor thing's been stuck in there for hours and is terrified. It's more frightened than you are at this point. What do? You raise the garage door back up. You let Fifi go on her way, you know. All's well that ends well. Your heart goes back to its normal rhythm. Those chemicals slowly leave your circulating bloodstream. At this point, things go back to normal. You might feel a little fatigued, but things go back to normal. Now, those chemicals in our bodies are not meant to circulate frequently. They are just the fear response. Only for that. Couple of seconds, boom, and you're done. Now, what's happened is when we are constantly under stress, when we constantly feel anxious, experiencing anxiety, feeling threatened, feeling in danger, those hormones are going to constantly circulate through our bodies at lower levels, higher than normal levels, and they're going to wreak havoc on our bodies, on our minds, on our spirits, on our souls. It creates wear and tear on our bodies. Now, Ernest Holmes said this in the Science of Mind textbook. He said, unfortunately, we find great faith in fear. Faith in the fear that one may lose material possessions. Faith in the fear one may lose his health. And on and on. Now, people who have experienced trauma, people who have experienced childhood trauma, adult trauma, wartime trauma, traumas of any kind can become hypervigilant. They can absolutely sense danger when there is no danger. And when that happens, these chemicals that are going around circulating through us do damage in the long run, you know? And what I think I see is a lot of people right now who are out picturing this hypervigilance state. You know, we're in a pandemic. We're in a worldwide pandemic. A virus that kills. And so people are in fear. It absolutely makes perfect sense. But the fear is what's causing all of these physiological changes in our body. We have racial tensions in this country that are running high. That too is fear. and it's causing physiological changes in our bodies. We have an election coming up. That too is fear, and it's causing physiological changes in our bodies. And this is the stuff that we want to move through to get to the understanding, like Ernest Holmes said, fear is not real. It is not real. It is a reaction to an effect. It is not a cause. And in Richer Living, Ernest Holmes said this. He said, we believe in the omnipresence of God. We can handle the age-old problem of fear. Fear is a belief that God is absent. It is the only devil there is, and if it governs our thinking, we experience the only hell there is. And you see, that's the problem that we have right now, is that we are looking out at a world where we have fear coming up on so many different levels. And we have to identify it for what it is. Oh my God, I'm afraid of this, or I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid something is going to happen. I'm afraid this is going to happen and I don't want it to happen, right? And so we are experiencing fear on so many different levels. And a lot of fear is creating a lot of physiological changes in our bodies. And I really believe it does cause us to act out, you know? We are in fear of dying, some of us. Some of us are in fear of the violence. Some of us are in fear of some kind of change that's going to happen in the government that we don't want, or no change is going to happen in the government that we do want. I mean, there is all kinds of underlying fear, and what we have to keep remembering is that fear is not a thing of itself. Fear is not a thing of itself. It is the outpicturing. It is the effect. It is never cause. It is the misuse of faith, like Ernest Holmes said, right? And we're afraid of all kinds of things right now, you know? Look, if you own stock and the stock market's doing great, yay, you're loving it. If you own stock and you're looking at the stock market tank, you're not happy, right? And you could be in fear. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, you are glad you're working. Yay. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, but you just got furloughed because the business closed because of the pandemic, now you have fear up. How are you going to support yourself? How are you going to pay the rent? We all are experiencing things like that at different levels. We must go back to principle all the time. We must go back to principle. You know, if you're immune compromised, your fear is up because of the pandemic. Oh, I want to stay at home. I want to stay safe. I want to stay away from people because I don't want to be infected. I don't want to die. Brings up fear. The pandemic isn't going away. It didn't magically disappear. It's still here. It's going to be here for a while. Apparently, it looks like it's taken up residence for a while. Not good or bad, it just is. And we have to protect ourselves, and we have to use our masks, and we have to use our good sense. And we have to rely on the experts, and we have to stay away from each other. We have to do all the things we've been told to do, right? And one of the things we're being told to do is to eliminate the fear, to eliminate the fear. We know that we all have strong opinions about things. We all believe our opinion is the best one. We all believe we know what we ought to be doing, right, to solve any and all of these things. But what I know is Spirit has our back. Spirit has our back. Ernest Holmes said this in this thing called you. He said, whatever you identify yourself with, you become like. Whatever you resist until you make it a reality, you will also become like. Therefore, resist not evil, and it will flee from you. Don't fight your fears. See through them. See through them. There is nothing in God's world to be afraid of. And how wonderful is that? How reassuring is that? There is nothing in God's world to be afraid of. Now, I love that quote, and I love that Dr. Holmes says to see through the fear. Because some people will just say, turn away. Just turn away. Just turn your back on them. I'm just not going to look over there. That doesn't help. Ernest Holmes didn't say deny facts. He never said deny what is happening. He never said that about life. He said that about prayer. He said that when we go into prayer, we absolutely deny. In fact, part of the 5-step affirmative prayer can be denial, can it? Affirmation and denial, until we get to that declaration where we know truth. So he absolutely said that about prayer. He didn't say that about the physical world. He said to see through the effects, see through them, and go to cause at that point, right? Once we know we are strictly dealing with a condition, we're not dealing with the cause, we're dealing with a condition, we can see through it. Not afraid of looking at the condition and knowing a greater truth about it. We look through the condition. We look beyond the condition to know the spiritual truth about it. And then we can go to prayer. That's when we absolutely turn away from the condition and stay in first cause and stay in that truth and know the truth for us and declare the truth for us and make it manifest. Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook said, "There is no fear in spirit, and there will be none in us when we realize who and what we are." Who and what we are. And that is the good news. That is the good news. There is no fear in us when we remember who we are. There's nothing to be afraid of. We can move through this pandemic being unafraid, knowing truth, standing in principle. We can move through the racial tensions that are appearing around us, standing in truth, knowing, living from principle. We can go through this election cycle, standing in truth, knowing our oneness. You know, someone said this weekend that Vision is a community of now I can't even remember it. Vision is a community of diversity. It's not a community of divisiveness. I love that. We're a community that embraces the diversity of all life. We are part of a movement that is walking toward a world that works for everyone. Everyone. We are standing in the truth that people awaken to the magnificence that they are. We have to know our oneness. And one of the best ways you can do that is get off Facebook. I'm taking a break. I am taking a break. Look, because here's the thing. It's just divisiveness. You know, I have a great, strong opinion. I think mine is right. You have a great, strong opinion. You think yours is right. And that's lovely. But when it devolves into name-calling or better than or less than or all of the nonsense that's going on right now prior to the election, when it devolves into all of that, you just don't want to even have a part in it. You don't want your consciousness going there. It's like sitting in a kiddie pool, right? Everybody's screaming and yelling and throwing things. You can't really understand what anybody's saying, and you know somebody's peed in it, okay? You just don't want to go there. So take a break. Give yourself a time out. You want to be for your guy? Be for him. I love that about us. We are passionate people here in the Vision community. We are passionate conservatives. We are passionate liberals. We're passionate Republicans and Democrats and libertarians and all kinds of things. We're passionate atheists and, deists, whatever. We're passionately believing our point of view, and I love that about us. And we can do that. We can be exactly what Ernest Holmes said. We can be for something and against nothing. So you love your guy, root for him, vote for him, work for him, make phone calls on his behalf. Do it. Do your thing, right? Somebody else wants their guy and loves their guy. Let him, do the same thing. Root for him, vote for him, work for him. And it's lovely. And you know what? That's still playing at the level of humanity. And what I know is Spirit is in charge and all as well. Do I trust either candidate? Do I trust either party? Do I trust any party? I trust Spirit. I trust Spirit. I know God is in charge and all is well. Remember what Ernest Holmes said, there is no fear in spirit. There will be none in us when we realize who we are. When we realize who we are, there's nothing to be afraid of. Don't be afraid of losing your money in the stock market, right? Why not? Because God is in charge and all is well. Don't be afraid of people marching on the street because God is in charge and all is well. Don't be afraid of the pandemic. Just do what you're supposed to be doing by isolating and wearing your mask because God is in charge and all is well. There is a spiritual truth at work here, right? I can look at this side of an issue, I can look at that side of an issue, but I know spiritual truth. And I know spiritual truth, and I trust Spirit. I trust Spirit. You know, the good news is we are not only our reptilian brain. It's our reptilian brain that lights up when we go into fear. But we're not just that. We are not just our reptilian brain. We have evolved. We have a mammalian brain, right? We have the limbic system. It's all about our emotions. And then over top of that, we have the neocortex. We have the Homo sapien brain, which is all about the intellect. We have a lot going for us. The reptilian brain wants to keep us alive. Eat, sleep, reproduce. That's about it. That's all it wants to know. And that's what lights up when we hear something unexpected or we go to fear. Fear that there's not going to be enough. Fear that it's going to be given away. Fear it's going to be taken away from me, right? Fear I worked hard for it and why should they get it for free? You know, that's the brother of the prodigal son, right? That's his main beef in that story. Wait a minute, I stayed home and worked hard. Why are you giving it away? And Spirit says, I give freely to all. Right? I give freely to all. So we have the reptilian brain, but we have the mammalian brain. We have the emotions. We have the neocortex. We have the Homo sapien brain. We have the intellect, right? We absolutely are in good shape. We've got a lot going for us. And most important of all of it is that fear does not exist in any true sense of the word. Fear is strictly a reaction. It is strictly an effect. It is never, ever a cause. And that is our salvation and our sanctuary. Fear does not even exist. You know, I live out in East County, and last night, you know, there's that big fire out there in Hamul, and I was watching it on the news, and I was watching it, and there's all kinds of ash landed on the car, and I was looking at the sky and all the darkness and watching on the news how everybody was helping each other. Everybody was helping each other. People were coming out of their homes, people who had trailers and didn't have horses, or people who had horses and didn't have trailers, and people were helping people to get to safety and themselves and their animals and protecting each other's property. And nobody pre-qualified any of that with, well, what is your political affiliation? Well, should I help you if you're, from the other side? Nobody said that because we are humans. And here's the thing, the master teacher said, love God with all your heart and soul and love each other. And that's the truth of us. That's what we do. That's what we're here to do. We're here to play nicely with each other. We're here to help each other out. We're here to do good work with and for each other. And Ernest Holmes said this in The Science of Mind. Since we cannot contract the absolute, we shall have to expand the relative. The infinite will not be or become less than itself. We are of its nature. We did not make our own being. All we can do is accept that the being, which is some part of who we are, is part of the divine. To know this is to overcome fear. To know this is to overcome fear. Forget everything and run? Oh, no, not in the least. Never. We're here to remember. We are here to remember, to remain steadfast, to know who we are, to remember whose we are. We are here to lean in, to look through the fear, look past it, to acknowledge the truth of our oneness, to acknowledge the truth that we are spirit and form, and to do the good work to demonstrate that oneness on earth. Thank you very much.
Now there you are. Yes, there's that face that somehow I trust. It may embarrass you to hear me say it, but say it I must. Say it I must. You have the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. You do. Yet with that upturned chin and that grin of impetuous youth. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. I hear the sound of good, solid judgment whenever you talk. Yet there's the bold, brave spring of a tiger that quickens your walk. Ah. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. And when my faith in my fellow man all but falls apart, I've but to feel your hand grasping mine, and I take heart. I take heart to see the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Yet with the slam, bang, tang, reminiscent of gin and vermouth. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. You. Mwah!
I love that, and I love Paul Kruse. Isn't he wonderful? I can't wait to see him in the flesh when we all come back together, and I know that it's happening, right? I know that that's the intention I set in spirit, that we know this is going to be behind us soon, and we are going to celebrate our oneness by being physically together as well as together heart to heart across the miles. Now is time for our conscious circulation. This is the time that we can support each other and vision in our spiritual practice known as tithing. This is the opportunity to know and accept that God is abundance. We are part of that. If you are choosing to give today, or if you've already given through your online donations, PayPal or Subsplash or Breeze or whatever, I don't even know what we're using anymore. I get confused. If you have chosen to give online, remember that. Put that in your mind. Know that this is the place for your donation. This is the place where we celebrate our oneness, where there is no separation. There is only God. There is only that outpicturing of Spirit as each one of us. And we are here to love, to remember, and to know each other in our wholeness. So if you are giving today, we are so grateful. It keeps us able to do what we do. So please put your gift in your hand or in your mind. Just know that you've been giving it online. And bless it. Bless it with the consciousness of oneness. Know along with me that God is all there is, that there is nothing outside of Spirit, and that we are showing up in all of our glory, in all of our uniqueness, in all of our diversity. Unique flowers, unique petals, unique individuals, unique expressions, no two alike, and that we are all doing life as we see fit, loving each other, rubbing up against each other, bouncing off each other, agreeing and disagreeing, and all of it wonderful. All of it wonderful when we remember who we are and whose we are. We are one. Spirit is in charge, and all is well. I give great thanks for this moment in time, for Spirit circulating through us as abundance. I call it good and very good, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you for singing along with us. Thank you for your generosity, and thank you for your support, which enables Vision to be that ministry that outpictures to all the world. So this is our time for Miracle Minute. I haven't had anyone this week email me with their demonstration of answered prayer, but I want to share one of my own. I have a little baby dog. I have a grand dog. It's my son's dog. And she just went through surgery this week. She was spayed, and she came through it flying colors. You know, we prayed. Everything was fine. She's home, and she's bouncy as ever. I thought it's supposed to slow him down a little bit, but, you know, she's quite rambunctious. Anyway, it was answered prayer for me. It was a demonstration of answered prayer. She's home, she's happy, she's healthy, all is well. So remember those demonstrations of answered prayer, and remember to email them to us so that we can talk about yours next week. And now it's The Last Word by Johnny Kirko.
Here, hello. No, I'm not echoing. So, welcome, and today we are continuing our Vision virtual meet and greet that starts right after our celebration. So join in. There should be, if you're on Facebook, a little meeting or a clickable Zoom meeting there. Just click onto it and it'll tell you a little bit about how to join us. Or I sent you an email yesterday and you should be able to see it there. Come and join us. We've got practitioners available for prayer as well. It's always good. Uplifts are going to continue this week. We're Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock. Sorry about some of the technical difficulties we had last week. We've fixed most of those, and we will continue doing those uplifts for you. This Thursday night, we have Joe Rathburn together, and he's got a program called the Buddy System, and he's got the four of them. It's going to be him and Art and Jeff Stasny, and Jim Reeves is going to be there too. So come and join us. That'll be Thursday night at 6 o'clock. The week after that, we got Andy and Nathan back. Andy and Nathan will be doing their show. They're going to do a Broadway show, so we're really excited about that. Put that on your calendar. Also want to mention a couple of classes we've got going on. We've got, first of all, Science Foundations, New Foundations, that Reverend Patti Paris will be teaching. That's starting on Monday evening, September 14th. And then that's not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow. And then and you can join that via Zoom. Also, we're doing a class, The Essential Earnest, which will be on Wednesday, September 16th. Both of those classes start at 6:30. Sign up online, go online, check it out, sign up and be a part of that. We really want you to be a part of the learning process that we do, some cool classes. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is Leaning In and Going Through. And we have Mr. Daniel Namod who's going to be with us. It's the first time we've ever had Daniel here. As a matter of fact, he's the one who wrote My Soul is Welcome Here that we sing at the beginning, and he's done all kinds of wonderful songs that we've sing in the choir and other things, so join us for that. Also, it's the beginning of September, so it's birthday month. So, Reverend Patti, talk a little bit about birthdays. By the way, happy birthday, Charles.
Happy birthday, September birthdays. You should get a birthday card from Vision. Inside that card is a little slip of paper that entitles you to a free practitioner session to celebrate your birthday. You get one of those once a year. Call us. We can set up a birthday session for you with a licensed practitioner, and we can do it online. We can do it in our Zoom room. We can create that same sense of confidentiality, one-on-one prayer work with a practitioner to celebrate you on your birthday. So please do that. And I think we have a birthday film, a birthday song for you right now. So let's get to it.
The days go by faster and faster. The calendar turns another year past you. It's a special day for you to shine. Friends all around with cheers and wishes. Candles on a cake that's just delicious. It's all for you today, 'cause it's birthday time. That's right, this one's for you. 'Cause it's birthday time. What a day for celebrating. There'll be songs and gifts and some happy congregating. This is birthday time with your friends and your relations. It's a time for joy and happy celebrations. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you for that, Dolly, and happy birthday, September birthday babies. Many more. So now is the time for our affirmations. I want everybody to stand up. I know you've been comfortable this last hour sitting in front of your computer and watching our celebration, but now is the time for you to stand up, get in on this, stand in the truth of these affirmations, ground in that, just attaching yourself to Mother Earth and allowing that energy to flow through you from the cosmos and from Mother Earth and mix together and mingle together in you the spirit that you are, right? You are Earth and you are cosmos and you are both and. So let's stand in the truth of these affirmations. Let's say them together. You ready? You with me? Okay, good. I am strong and wise. Life is beautiful. I am my best source of motivation. And I want to say that third one once again, because I don't know if you've quite really committed to that one, particularly since we're all sheltering in place. Maybe not so much. Have you found your motivation yet? All of it? Let's say it again and just ground in the truth of it. I am my best source of motivation. And you absolutely are. I know that you're doing wonderful things at home while we're waiting to be back together. Let's pray out. I give great thanks for this moment in time, for the celebration, for the oneness, for knowing that we are together across the miles, that there is no separation in spirit, that energy is energy is energy, and we know that it expands infinitely in all directions. We know that we are together in all of this good, in all of this love, in all of this joy. We know that fear does not even exist. We stand in faith as a community. We stand in faith with each other. We stand in the faith of these principles, knowing and accepting God is all there is. We are some part of that life of God. It is whole, perfect, and complete. It is our life right here and right now. Amen. Thank you so much. See you next time.